about the fourth industrial revolution, about how technology is underpinning everything. There's agri-tech, biotech, edu-tech, everything is tech. So technology is taking over, and Johan is going to share his story as an entrepreneur and also a little bit of motivation to tell us about, as South Africans, we are very, very globally relevant, and that's the next frontier. Africa, South Africa is a gateway onto the continent, so let us get the technology going, and Johan is going to be able to share his insights about being a global digital entrepreneur. Without further ado, can I call upon Johan Janssens to come upon the stage? Can we give a warm South African hand of applause? Thank you so much, Johan.
So, digital entrepreneurship. I was thinking about how to get started with this talk, and I was like, hey, you know, I can try to tell you a little bit about my story. And my story starts a long time ago. I was born at the end of the 70s, 79. And that makes me somebody of the X generation, who is from my generation, who is an Xer here. Still a few. Those people are people that still know the world without internet, know the world without mobile phones, know the world without being connected. We were a little bit alone, right? When we had to date, we had to pick up this old analog phone and call our girlfriend, and then the mom was next to us and say, hey, what are you doing? Oh, I'm just going to call my girlfriend. Today, everybody uses Facebook, right? And your parents don't know. So, but I'm also from the Y generation, the millennials. Who is from the Y generation here? Guys that almost, I'm a little bit in the middle, guys that grew up with the internet, with being connected. And the people that are now growing up, they have never seen a world without internet before. They're what we call digitally natives. So it's an interesting world. We are the first to be augmented, the first to be intellectually together, and the first generation to be really limited by our imagination. 79, that's when it started. Well, my story starts 10 years later. 10 years later in 89, which was the beginning of the digital revolution. I got this. You know what that is? Who owned one? There are a few here. Great. This is a Commodore 64, also referred to as the most famous and most sold personal computer of modern times. It was my first computer too. In '89, I got this computer from my dad, and it was actually quite an investment. It costed a couple $1,000s. I actually told my dad that I wanted to learn to program, but actually I wanted to play games. Just don't tell him that, he doesn't know. The thing was, there were no games. So I was a little bit stuck. So I learned how to program with this Commodore 64, and a Commodore 64 has 64 kilobytes of memory. Now, do you know how much that is? How much is that? Very, very, very little, right? It's a little. So let's see how much it is. It is half a second, just half a second of music on your mobile phone. It's half a second of Spotify, or half a second of Apple Music. It's half a second of the latest song. That's not much. It goes like that. But in 46 kilobits of memory, I could program this computer. 1990, the World Wide Web happened. Tim Berners-Lee invented the World Wide Web. And suddenly, we were not able to just work with our computer just on our own. We were able to connect computers together. We were able to connect people together across the world. That was very new at that time. And Tim said the most important thing about the internet was actually the concept of a URL, a unique resource locator. This little string that you use to go to a website that uniquely identifies the place that you want to go to, which is a very new concept. So this is the internet today. This is about 5 billion connections. We're still missing 2-3 billion connections. We still haven't connected all the people on the planet together. So imagine what would happen if we're able to do that. The web, as I envisioned it, Tim said, is still much bigger than where we are today. So that's the digital revolution that I was taking part in. It was really cool because when I got my computer after my Commodore 64, I got an Intel, which was a personal computer. And then you got your first modem to get on the internet. So you'll remember that you had to connect it with your phone line, and it made this very strange kind of noise. Today, you just open up the laptop here, and then you go on, and then the internet says, hey, do you want to connect? You click a button, and you're good. You get 500 megabytes for free here. This is us in 2007 at the Googleplex in California, in San Francisco, where part of the community came together to collaborate and build Joomla. Today, 3% of the websites on the internet are using this technology. So this is Joomla Tools, which I started in 2010, and then I actually had figured out how to do my own company. I first created technology that everybody was really excited about, and then from there, took steps to figure out how to make money with that and build my own company. So today we're 7 years later, and I'm here. So I made a move from my own little bedroom desk 20 years ago to being able to speak for you today here. So we are now a team of people all around the world. We're a remote company. We don't have an office. Why do you need an office, right? If my office is actually standing there, which is my laptop. So the team spreads from Vancouver, is mainly located in Europe, and then all the way to the Philippines, where we also have a company and a team. That's one of the things that I do, and the other thing that I do is speaking. Speaking about startups, about entrepreneurship. This picture is last year in Manila, where I spoke for 10,000 students about technology and entrepreneurship, which was really fun. So I will leave you with this, and I hope that you do. Pursue something so important that even if you fail, the world is better off having you try it. I thank you for your attention, and it was a pleasure being here.